homeowners, it's not a question of if, but when the next hurricane will come. No matter what Florida weather has in store, StormSmart has products that protect every opening of your home while improving the look, feel, and function. From durable aluminum shutters, high-impact windows and doors, to our innovative storm catcher screens, products that enhance the beauty of your home and keep your family safe. Because smart is complete hurricane protection, and smart is peace of mind. Call StormSmart today for your free in-home consultation.
When your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with the Generac Home Standby Generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. For temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. Another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Some isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We're always on it for you just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Sponsored by StormSmart. Protect every opening of your home with StormSmart. And by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Monday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Technically Tuesdays and Thursdays are our day, and sometimes we have a DPL on DPL Plus on Wednesday. But as hurricane season gets going, anytime there's weather, the whole point of this thing that we've created over the years has been if there's weather going on or if there's something worth talking about or discussing, and there is. The first yellow blob of the season has been released by the Hurricane Center, and we've got rain in the forecast across our area for at least the next couple of days. So I figured I'd do a quick little DPL, and this is what we would expect to do. And not to mention, starting on July 1st on the Spot, Channel 66. Now, again, I'm not sure the details. I know Ion right now is on Channel 17. I know you see it on Channel 17 on Spectrum, on cable. I don't know, I got to find this out. I don't know if that will remain on Channel 17 when we take it over July 1. Which, again, the Bolts games, all Tampa Bay Lightning games will be free on that channel. Preseason, regular season, and the first round of the NHL playoffs, which hopefully they will make it. Usually they do. And there will be local programming on that channel other times, one of which will be DPL Monday through Friday. It will still be seen right here. Where you're watching right now is where you're going to continue to be able to watch it. It's just I have this really cool button now which says DPL on it, and this will be designed, when I hit this button, it'll break into commercial programming. So, we have our sponsors right now, StormSmart, Generac Generators, but we're also on TV going to be running commercials like all TV stations do on broadcast TV. So I will be doing that myself by hitting this button to activate the commercials. And then while they're in commercials, we'll still be here talking on Facebook, on Instagram, still be on streaming. And then they come back and there'll be a countdown for me that I got to watch so I can hit the countdown at the same time. So there's lots of stuff going on. And oh, by the way, I will still have my band button. So whether or not I'll be pressing commercial buttons or band buttons, I got to keep my buttons straight. And I am a buttons presser. You know this about me. So we'll see if we're able to figure it all out. So who do we got a lot of folks in here tonight. We are going to be talking about the tropics as well as, what the GFS. I've been on a rant the last 3 or 4 days. I know if you follow me on Facebook, you guys know I have, because constantly in my feed, and I'm going to jump right into this right now, by the way. Constantly in my feed, there have been weather influencers. I don't know how to call them. I don't know if they're influencing people or not. I hope not, truth be told, because anybody who is go ahead and pushing a 10 to 14 day forecast on a model should not be influencing anybody. And I'm going to tell you why. Then we're going to get into the rain potential, which is pretty high over the next 3 days. And then we're going to talk about the yellow blob, which we will be getting a new update from the Hurricane Center shortly. Let's see if it's out there yet. It's already out, and it's still a yellow blob with a 10% likelihood of development. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this. I'm going to jump right in, because you've heard me go on a rant about why it frustrates me. You get some people, and by the way, there's one Alex who's sometimes on here, posted on Facebook as well. I don't know if he's in the chat group because you guys are already on your chat. And I usually do hellos and everything, but I got too much stuff to talk about. But, Alex is like, oh, the GFS has been so accurate in long range over the last year or so. Really? Let's look at that. All right, here is a look, and this is from Dr. Hart from the FSU Meteorology Department. Greg and Jason both went to FSU, and they are very, very aware of the what's the word? The reputation of FSU, as well as, it's the largest meteorological institution in the state of Florida, and it's very well renowned. It's very, very respected. So here you go. What are we looking at here? All right, this is last year. This is the Euros last year during hurricane season, okay, through Christmas Eve, through the 24th of December. And what this is looking at is the number of predicted tropical systems, named systems, by the Euro. The Euro predicted there would be 129 named storms. It came up with 129 instances of tropical cyclogenesis, okay? And I'm not even sure if it's necessarily a named storm. It might even be a depression as well. I'm not sure. The parameters here look to be 0 to 9. Well, that's percentages. But anyway, the point being is it predicted 129 of these. The GFS, which is the model that every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's a weather influencer is posting, predicted 462 instances of tropical cyclogenesis, low pressure developing. Again, I'm not sure if Dr. Hart actually has this as a named storm or just a depression, not sure. But how many? 462 instances of the GFS saying, hey, we're going to have a named system out there. How many did we have? How many did we have? We had 18. 18 named storms last year. The GFS, the model of choice for all the wishcasters and doomsday folks, had 462. That is a percentage between 3 and 4% accurate. So the Euro was significantly better, and even still significantly better, but still had 129. So what is my point? I think my point is probably pretty obvious. My point is these models this far out, they're simply not designed to do it. Look, they're not designed to forecast an accuracy greater than 7 days. Anything from 10 days on, you've heard me say this for decades. It's fantasy land. So I repeat, if there is someone out there posting a 10 to 14 day forecast and saying, hey, look, and especially the verbiage that goes along with it. And I think the verbiage is important. The verbiage says, oh, look, we got to watch out for this because look, if they're influencing you, they shouldn't be, because it's simply ridiculous. Now, 4% of the time it was right. So if you want to hinge your preps on something that's right 4% of the time, you do you, and you go right ahead. But I think it's a waste of time, and it drives me crazy, as I've been ranting about of late. So, that being said, that is why I believe anybody who posts a 10 to 14-day GFS and then says, oh, look at this, we got to be really careful, we have to be vigilant, this is going to... It's not even 4%, it's less than 4%. Less than 4% of the time, 462 times the GFS predicted it, 18 times it happened. So if you want to go ahead and get all hot and bothered about something that is less than 4% accurate, more power to you. I think it's a waste of time. All right, now, so let's go ahead and see what the models are showing for the next couple of days. All right, so here's a look at the European model. And by the way, I also downloaded the Euro AI, which if you've been following us, the Euro AI was the most accurate model last year. It did a really nice job. And I can explain in a minute what the Euro AI does. In fact, I will. But here's the Euro deterministic model. This is just a single run, right? This shows unsettled weather to our west and our southwest. There's a cutoff low out there, and that is why we're going to be looking at periods of rain through Thursday. See where that low is right there? West of us. It is not the one that GFS has been blowing up. It's just weak low pressure that eventually is expected to cross the state, and you see by Thursday, it's off the coast of South Carolina. And the Hurricane Center is saying there is a 10% chance that this could develop as it moves out to sea. See it right there? Kind of scooting by Cape Cod. Well, let's go ahead and look at that. Let's look at here's the 8 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center. A non-tropical area of low pressure is forecast to form near or offshore of the southeastern U.S. coast during the next 2 or 3 days. Again, it's when that cutoff low moves across the state and ends up becoming potentially a surface low. If the system remains offshore, the low could gradually develop some subtropical or tropical characteristics later this week as it's moving away. So again, absolutely no threat to the U.S. Zero. The possibility of it developing is at 10%. Now look, you guys know this. That can change sometimes quickly. I've seen it go from 10% to 90% in 24 hours. So we all know that this can change. But what won't change is a threat to the U.S., because even if this were to develop closer to land, it would be weak and it would be nothing but a little bit of rain, a rainmaker, maybe a little squally weather. So there is zero to worry about with this system. Okay? Now, let's go back. Let's look at the GFS, because this is what's been going on with the GFS. The GFS for the last week has been developing a system in the Caribbean, and eventually it's had it east of Florida, it's had it over Florida, it's had it west of Florida, and now it has it going into Texas. What is it? It doesn't exist at this point. There is no it, and it keeps pushing it back. So this is a week from Wednesday. It finally has low pressure developing and going into Texas as a, by the way, minimal system, as a tropical storm. But the model over the last week, and here's the thing that I find fascinating about this. Look, if it keeps predicting a storm down there, eventually it's going to happen. It might be in September, but it's eventually going to happen. Look, there is a reason the GFS is forecasting this. There's going to be an area of thunderstorm development clustered down in Western Central America, Western Caribbean. But that is what the GFS is notorious for. It has a bias of taking these thunderstorms, clustered thunderstorms, and blowing it up into a hurricane or a tropical storm. It does it all the time. How many times? 462 last year, to be exact. Literally. It took 462 instances of clustered thunderstorms and turned it into a tropical system, a named system or a depression or a hurricane. Again, I'm not sure the parameters which Dr. Hart went with on that. So at the end of the day, might something develop? Sure, it's right 4% of the time. But my issue is, again, with people who are not just showing it, but saying, we've got to be ready. Look, again, what I've already gone over it. I'm not going to go over it again. You understand what I'm saying. So that's the GFS. The GFS is showing development. And hey, we get tropical systems in the Gulf in June. It certainly could happen. But at this point, it's the only model that's showing it. Doesn't mean it's not right. Again, I'm not even saying it's not right. What I'm saying is that I get sick of the constant showing up in my feed of people warning people, oh, you got to be careful, got to be vigilant. This is one you have to watch. No, it isn't. It might at some point, but it ain't now. So shut it. All right, so that's the next thing. Now, let's look at the Euro AI. And I do want to talk briefly for the folks who are new to the game about the Euro AI. Because the Euro AI was spectacular last year. What is it? I don't know, I'm not a programmer, but I know what it's built and what it's been designed to do. The Euro AI takes the European data, European model, and has improved it, the AI part of it. Now, what does that mean? When we do long-range hurricane forecasts, we often use analogs. In other words, we compare broad, large, long-range forecasts and try to get an idea of how an overall season might develop based on those broad features that are out there, okay? And we compare, oh, look where the high is right now. And let's look at where things are. Hey, back in 2000 and whatever, it was similar. So in 2000 and whatever, we had these number of storms, and this is where they went. So maybe it'll be similar to that now. That's what analogs do. We compare previous years to current features and try to derive a broad climatological forecast. That ain't meteorology. Meteorology is the study of the atmosphere in short term. Climatology is the long-range forecasting, okay? Well, what the Euro AI has done, to my knowledge, they have pretty much thrown every bit of data that they could find dating back to the 40s, the 1940s, throw it out there and derive a way that the Euro takes the current state of the atmosphere and compares it to something it found back somewhere in the last 90 years, 80 years in that computer, and derive a forecast that way. So not only is it taking current data that the Euro is using, it's also relating it to similar situations in the past and combining that to derive a forecast. And it was money last hurricane season. Makes a lot of sense, too. If you find a very similar state of the atmosphere, and there's so many things that come into play, so that's hard to do, but when you're looking at 80 years of data, it might be a little easier. You find a state of the atmosphere back whenever it was to what we have now, throw into the current model, which is still one of the best, if not the best model out there, the Euro, you're going to theoretically get better, more accurate forecasts. And boy, that certainly was the case last hurricane season. So here's the Euro AI. And look at what it's doing with the little system near us. Okay, there's Wednesday. There's Thursday. It does develop it. You know, maybe into a tropical depression off the coast of the Carolinas. That's what the Euro AI is showing. That doesn't even look like a tropical storm. That looks honestly like maybe just a depression. But there it is on Thursday. And then it goes out to sea and goes away. But let's look and see what it's showing in the Caribbean. Well, obviously nothing. But remember, the GFS is not even developing anything until the end of next week. Well, up until then, there's a lot of nothing. There's bupkis, zero. Look at that. Look at the Caribbean. There's next Wednesday and Thursday. Now, again, I'm not saying the GFS is not capable of picking up on things that the Euro isn't, because it has. I'll say it again, every now and again, a blind squirrel finds a nut. But overall, the GFS is blowing something up, and the Euro AI is showing nothing. Now, it is showing a little bit of development crossing over in the Pacific. And I think that's what's really happening. In the same time frame, instead of what the GFS has going here, the Euro has it going here, more to the west, depending on where that ridge builds and how it pushes it. Now, that's interesting because when you look at this, look at where the predictions are from the Climate Prediction Center. Look at where the potential development would be. Western Caribbean, but instead of going this way, it goes this way. But they're both still out there. Bay of Campeche, southwestern Gulf, or going into the Pacific. So it is interesting. So it kind of all makes sense, right? It kind of does. But anyway, bottom line is the Euro AI is showing nothing. Nor is the ICON, which is the German model, nor is the Canadian. The GFS, and I will acknowledge, the GFS at times, 462 to be exact, has predicted something that nothing else was predicting. And every now and again, it is right. But what it's doing now, and this is our little, see, look, when you've been doing this as long as I've been doing, you see little clues, right? Same thing with a cold front. Where's Sean? With the 540 line. A lot of times at the end of the season, the GFS and the Euro is actually usually more aggressive with cold than the GFS is. But the point is, the model is a model. What it'll do is it'll start to back off on that event, and whether it backs off in the sense that it pushes it back in terms of arrival time or it never makes it at all. Well, the GFS is already pushing back the development of that system in the Gulf or in the Caribbean. Again, if it keeps pushing it back, eventually it's going to be right. Eventually there's going to be a Western Caribbean storm going in the Gulf this year. We all know that. It's going to happen. We're not in an El Nino. We're in an ENSO neutral, or maybe even trending a little bit toward La Nina, which is a lot of gobbledygook, but all that means is it would be similar to the pattern we had last season in September and October, and we all know what happened then. So it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Kim, the 540 line is the rain-snow line. It's the freezing line. And a lot of times what will happen is the models will bring that line farther south into our area a week out, 10 days out. But then by day 6 or day 7 or day 8, it started pushing it back, and it doesn't bring it nearly as far south because the models back off on how aggressive they are, whether it's with a tropical system or whether it's with a cold front. So I have not been looking, at comments at all because I have been talking. But now I'm looking at comments, and I see you guys are asking for bans. You see, though, I have not. Oh, Sean is here. So let's see. Let me see. I can only scroll back a little bit. You guys know this. So I cannot see the people that you are saying are spammers. So I can't go back any farther. But if they show up again, I can. So Grayson and Chang, so you have been given a second chance. But if you post again, you will be banned. Just remember that. So, yeah, I don't see them. But, All right, so let's talk about the rain chances, okay? But now I am looking. Now, I cannot scroll back. The comments only go back a certain ways for me. And let me see, hold on. But Bridget highlighted their name. So maybe, wait. Bah! Okay, Cheng is gone. Blocked. Okay, so let's see if there's anybody. You guys are brutal. Seriously, you guys are absolutely brutal. Wait a minute. Okay, let's talk about the rain. Let's talk about the rain. I'm still scrolling back trying to find these people. I can't. Okay, anyway, let's go back. Let's look at the rain. So here is a look at Wednesday morning at the airport. Bridget, I think there will be rain. Yeah, see, I think you guys got to, if you tag them like Bridget did, I think I can block them. And I'm trusting you because you guys are the admins, honestly. So with you guys being the admins, I trust you on saying that there are spammers out there. All right, so anyway, here you go. There's a look at radar, and obviously, you know, right now things are pretty quiet. How about those storms today? Holy cow, okay, Randy wants to talk about Metallica. We'll get to that as well. So let's go ahead and get to the forecast because we've talked tropics. Now let's talk about what's going on here. So we had ping pong ball size hail. Ping pong ball size hail across Hillsborough County today. Craziness. Biggest hail I remember since we had it in Highlands County where we literally had baseball size hail. So there's a look at overall rainfall totals. 24-hour totals, we have had 3 to 5 inches of rain in the areas in purple since yesterday afternoon. The blue area is 1 to 2.5 inches of rain. The green area is 1 inch or less. So that is what we have seen in the last 24 hours. Stephanie has friends coming from Wisconsin tomorrow. Well, there'll be sun Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, not so much. Thursday, so-so. Friday, yes. There will not be much rain tonight, Kimberly. All right? And by the way, you mentioned Spring Hill. You're right. Most of the rain has been south of I-4. There's not going to be a lot of rain tonight. There is not. All right, let's get back into this. All right, you guys are getting me fired up here. Remember all the rain that we got on Saturday? Don't tell me you haven't got rain because we were all over that for a week in advance. Everybody got rain. It was heavy rain at times. So don't even sit here and say, I didn't get any rain. Yes, you did. Saturday, you got rain. Now, today, most of the rain, in fact, all of the rain has pretty much been from I-4 south. Matter of fact, Citrus County was up around 90 degrees with more sunshine. Saturday, you guys got rain. Okay? All right, let's go back. Let's talk about rain for tomorrow and Wednesday. So don't be whining about rain because you got rain. All right. Low to mid 80s today. Look up north. Citrus, Hernando County. He had mostly sunny skies. That's why we're in the upper 80s. Areas, Tampa South got the rain today. I've said that about 25 times now. Right now, 82 degrees and mostly cloudy. 8 degrees below average today. 8 degrees below average because of the clouds, and officially 1/100th of an inch of rain, so not too much. All right, I found one to ban right now. Ban from, I don't know what his name was, but he's gone. So there you go. All right, let's look at futurecast quickly. Okay. And we got folks making that joke that, boy, we've seen a million times. I will not ban for it the first time, I will the second. Patrick from Quebec, how you doing? All right, here's a look at futurecast. All right, here we go. Got 45 seconds for streamers. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, dry. We have an east-southeast wind tomorrow. So that means the majority of the rain that develops will be afternoon, but it will come back toward the beach. So scattered to 50 to 60% coverage tomorrow, starting inland, coming back toward the beach. More of a southerly flow on Wednesday. Periods of rain, mostly cloudy all day. So you're going to have some rain for an hour or two, it'll stop. You'll get more rain for an hour or two, it'll stop. Thursday, same thing, mostly cloudy. And then by Friday, the sunshine returns. Streamers, You're about gone. If you want to continue, watch us on Facebook. Have a good night. Okay. I did not press the button. I did press the button on that guy looking for love, Anna Maria. I did. So there you go. All right. So now we're not in as much of a hurry. So now we can talk more about it. Right, so again, tomorrow, afternoon and evening rain. Is it going to rain like it did Saturday? It will not. Saturday was a line of rain. It was a front. Line of rain. Forecast could not have been more accurate on Saturday. All right. Today, south of I-4, where the remnants of that front continues to linger and weak low pressure. And it's going to sit there for a couple of days as a cutoff low. Literally, the low is cut off from the upper level flow. So it sits there, thus the name, cut off low. Okay? So tomorrow, with a south to southeasterly wind, which is the pattern that we're always looking for, if to get rain back in our area. So we will see. We are not in the rainy season yet, Kimberly. So what we will see is mostly dry in the morning, afternoon and evening storms pushing east to west. Okay? 50 to 60% coverage. All right? 50 to 60% coverage tomorrow. Wednesday, 60 to 70% coverage. Let's go back and I'll show you that again. Okay, and Gene is banned for using foul language. So Gene is gone. See you around, Gene, in the afterlife. All right, so that one was banned by Facebook, actually, because foul language, gone. Yes, Kelly, low pressure can cause migraines. All right. Spring Hill on Saturday, will it rain? Scattered stuff. Let's go back. I want you to look at the direction which the rain is moving tomorrow. Look at that southeast to west flow. Look how it develops and moves west toward the coast, something we have been dying to see. See that? All stars go to the Children's Miracle Network. So, Susie, I think that was for the Stars game. Karen, I do think there will be scattered showers tomorrow for the Threshers game. I do. You'll be lucky to get that in. Marianna, Kentucky, how you doing? So anyway, there's the east to west flow on Tuesday. But look at Wednesday. Look how it changes. Look at the direction there everything's moving. Southwest. See that? I'm going back, now going forward again. South to north. See that? So Wednesday looks to be like a mostly cloudy to overcast day with periods of rain. I'm going backwards again. So you get little waves of energy that come through, sparks some heavier rain, moves through, then another piece of energy rides along and develops it again. South to north motion, southwest to north-northeast motion. Thursday, same thing. See everything starting in the Gulf and moving to the northeast. So tomorrow is the only day that we're going to get that east to west wind, but we're going to have more moisture coming in from the Gulf on Wednesday and Thursday. So I think you are going to see rain on Thursday as well. Solid coverage on Wednesday, solid coverage on Thursday. But then it moves across the state, as we showed you on the models, right? And takes a lot of the rain along with it. So it is a little bit of spin, Sandra. So there you go. By Friday, the coverage begins to drop, and by the weekend, we're back down to a typical seasonal 30% chance of rain. So for the Metallica concert, which is what a lot of folks have been asking, let's go back and look at the wind field, the direction of the storms on Saturday. Where's the high? Looks like a southerly flow. Yep. So, what does that mean? It means at this point, but it's only Monday, it's 5 days out, rain will not be an issue for the Metallica concert. It will be inland in the evening hours with a westerly flow. That's what I'm saying today. If you're going to the outdoor concert, check us out tomorrow and again on Thursday. We'll have better information. But that's, Randy, what I'm thinking right now. Connie's like, what Metallica concert? Connie, how did you miss that? In all caps, no less. How did you miss that? So yes, I believe the concerts will be okay because by then I think the rain will be inland. All right? That's right now what I'm thinking. How you doing, Elrin? Good to see you. So again, if you missed the beginning of the show, we talked a lot about tropics. We talked about the GFS. We talked about the Euro. We talked about the NHC. I will show you one more time in case you missed it. Again, here is the Euro. You've got that blob in the Gulf. It's going to move across the state and redevelop off the southeastern coast, potentially. Hurricane Center has a whopping 10% chance of any potential development. Where is that? I don't know where I have it. It's on a different page. I'll call it up again. Let me call it up again, call it up again, call it up again. There we go. Okay. 10% chance of development. There it is. So nothing to worry about. This is not the system that the GFS has been touting. That does not exist. We will see if it does. Matter of fact, Nick, we did. If I'll tell you a story about that. We talked about it on Friday. And the reason I say that is because the H-Wharf, the graph, was really bullish on the westerly wind and the rain for our area today. And I will be honest, it nailed it on Friday. And I talked about it, but I was not as bullish on the amount of rain that we would see today that the graph was. So we did address it on Friday, 3 days ago. But it was pretty impressive, and I did not expect to see the kind of hail that we had. We had ping pong ball size hail. It's crazy. So we did see it. Okay, rain on Orlando. Francis, I do believe there will be rain with a westerly flow, Francis. I do think there will be rain in Orlando on Saturday. I would not, look, anybody who knows the area, you don't cancel plans in the parks in Orlando in the summer. You just go inside for an hour. If it rains for an hour, then you go back out. If it rains, it will be scattered afternoon stuff. It will, and we're talking late afternoon into the evening. And I think there probably will be some. But you don't cancel. You just deal with it. That's what Floridians do. Okay? Now, Jerry, this is what I wear every time we have DPL. So I've only been doing DPL now for about 15 years, no, about 10 years. So started doing the hoodie because the studio is cold and it's just more comfortable. Starting July 1st, getting a call from my daughter. Starting July 1st, DPL will be on broadcast television, which is very interesting in itself. Hello?
Are you on DPL?
I am on DPL, but I'll be off shortly.
Okay, bye-bye.
So I will be off shortly. So just reminding you, and we're going to talk more about how you can get the Bolts games and Channel 66 and if it's going to be on Spectrum and Tableau and all the ways to watch DPL as well as Lightning games for free. Friday morning in Sarasota, Natalie, sorry for your loss. Friday morning. Yeah, the hoodies, the people who made the hoodies were a great Teespring. They were awesome for years. Well, in the last year, they've gone straight into the tank. And they've been undependable. They are getting their stuff out, but we're switching vendors. Like literally any day now, we're going to switch vendors to a place that's more dependable and that will get the stuff faster because they've just been a nightmare the last 6 months. Our Etsy page has been awesome. All of our Etsy cups, all of our Rule 7 cups, all that stuff, benefits, proceeds, benefit, Feeding Tampa Bay and Children's Miracle Network, All Children's Hospital, Suncoast Animal League, lots and lots of local charities. But the Teespring site has been a complete debacle in the last 6 months. So we're switching vendors. But yeah, we've got hoodies and some really cool new hoodies too. That's all going to be coming out shortly. But we've been trying to get over all the debacle that was Teespring. Horrible. I would not recommend them to my worst enemy. As for Friday in Sarasota, I think you're okay. Westerly flow might mean rain in the morning along the coast, but by then most of the moisture should be inland. Check tomorrow and again on Thursday to know for sure. But definitely thoughts to your family. Daniel, yeah, I don't know if the hoodie wore hoodies before I did. He's been wearing Bill Belichick, obviously known for his hoodies. Don't know if he's been wearing it longer than me. That's a close one. Not sure. Yeah, Anna Maria, that was Teespring's issue. They were wonky. It's very, very true. So, but the new ones will be available shortly, and they're going to be awesome. Rain on Saturday in Spring Hill. No. It'll be inland. You should be okay. All right. All right, I think that's about it, guys. Looking at more stuff. I think that's about it. No one else to ban, and I think we're good. Can you update me about the areas of interest off the East Coast? Yeah, Haley, I've already said that about 7 or 8 times. This does repeat. I will say it again because you asked and you were polite. Nothing to worry about. 0 to worry about. A little bit of rain for the Carolinas. That's it. Next. Might it become a depression? The Euro AI has it as a minimal depression maybe on Thursday, but that's about it. Zephyr Hills, I do think the next 2 to 3 days you are going to have scattered rain. Thunderstorms. Wednesday and Thursday will be the 2 days. Tomorrow, east to west flow, all afternoon and evening stuff. We already covered this stuff. It's on. Show starts at 7:30. Show starts at 7:30. So, it does repeat, so you can go back and listen to it because I can't just keep repeating it over and over as we get people in and out. Appreciate you stopping by, but can't do it. So Wednesday and Thursday, rain coverage will be better, more of a southerly flow, periods of rain, lots of clouds Wednesday and Thursday. That moisture exits northeast, and I think we're back to normal by the weekend. All right? So that is it. Candace, Ozona, I think you're going to get a little bit of rain tomorrow late in the afternoon. I do. Thursday morning, Homosassa, Tarpon to Homosassa. Thursday morning, I do think there will be some rain along the coast Thursday, Cody. I do. But check us out tomorrow, too. Daniel, I've already got it. The Thunder in 5. Matter of fact, Thunder in 5, Panthers in 5. There it is. By the way, if you remember March Madness, Kyle Berger sat right here before the invites even went out for March Madness, before we knew who the 64 teams were. I sat right here and predicted the Final Four correct, the final game correct, and the winner correct. So I'm just telling you, if you have the Hard Rock app, you could have made yourself a nice chunk of change if you had followed this weather department during March Madness. So, just saying, you had your chance. So yeah, let me tell you, the Thunder, here's the difference in my opinion, now that we've gone down this road. The Pacers are a really great offensive team that doesn't play a lot of defense. The Thunder are a really great offensive team that loves to play defense. Right there's your difference. If you looked at the Pacers numbers all year, they had the highest over-under of any NBA team. They love to put up points and they love to give up points, as did the Chicago Bulls, by the way, another team that had huge totals day in and day out. People are like, what are you talking about totals? The forecast total points scored in that game, usually 230 to 240 every single night with the Bulls and with the Pacers. The Bulls aren't in the finals. The Pacers are, which I did not expect. I'll be honest. I mean, once the Celtics lost Tatum, their season went right down the tubes. I thought the Knicks would beat the Pacers. I was incorrect. Thunder plays defense. I'm not saying they're going to shut down Indiana, but they also have they obviously have SGA, the MVP. So they've already got their offense, and they play hard defense. So there you go. Say it again. I say the Thunder in 5. You know, Edmonton is tough, you know, in terms of the Panthers. The Panthers are playing such good hockey right now, but Edmonton's been there as well. I still say maybe in 6, maybe the Panthers in 6. Winning in 5 in hockey is tough because there is such a thing as puck luck, and it is a thing. All right, I'll change it. Panthers in 6, Thunder in 5. There it is. That is what it is. Metallica Friday and Saturday. And Darren, we have been talking about the Metallica concert for the last 25 minutes. You missed it. I think you'll be okay. I think the rain will be more inland for that concert with more of a westerly flow by Friday. All right? So there it is. Ren, how you doing? Yeah, I know. Ren is a big Bolts fan, as you can see, because she has her Stanley Cup right next to her in that picture. Ren stopped by my house for our Christmas lights display after getting rear-ended in an accident outside my house. But as a true fan and true loyal DPL viewer, she and her friend still came over to see the Christmas lights at like 10:30 at night. We were still out there with our hot chocolate. So props to Ren. Thunder sweep? Ooh, Ryan, it's bold. It's not impossible. Thunder are that good, but I think Indiana steals one at home. That's my take. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, you have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow night. We will be back tomorrow. Puck luck is a thing, Diane. Oh, puck luck is a thing. You know, you can have, I mean, it just is. And anybody who plays hockey or follows hockey knows it's a thing. You can argue sometimes the best team does not win the Stanley Cup playoffs and not win the Stanley Cup because of puck luck. It is also why, more often than not, the President's Cup winner, which is the team that had the best regular season record, rarely wins the Stanley Cup because it just doesn't work out that way. So, anyway, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. You have a great night, and we will have an update on the tropics as well as our rainy stretch of weather on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night.